New details on the Obama administration's $400 million cash payment to Iran. The U.S. refused to hand over the money until the plane carrying the hostages left Iran. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. That story seems to connect with the claim of one of the prisoners, who told Fox Business this.
They told us we were going to be there for 20 minutes, but it took like hours and hours. We slept at the airport, and when I asked them why you don't let us go, because the plane was there, pilot was there, everyone was ready that we leave the country, they said we are waiting for another plane, and until that plane doesn't come, we never let you go.
Here now is KT McFarland, Fox News national security analyst. So what do you think about this story? Some people might look at it and say, you know, this is money that they were going to get anyway. It's what little leverage we have. Why wouldn't we hold it back until the hostages were free?
Yeah, you know, look, it's clearly we paid ransom for those hostages. It's not a coincidence that it all happened within a few hours, that the hostages were released and the money was released. And there's a reason we don't do this. I mean, it's not just that President Obama was caught basically lying and denying. There's a reason we don't pay ransom for hostages. One, because it just reinforces the bad guys are going to take more hostages. That's exactly what they've done. They've taken 3 more Americans hostages. The second is that what do they use that money for? Well, we've seen that they've used that money for the Iranian defense budget and to give to the Iranian-sponsored terrorists. The Foundation for the Defense of Democracies even found the budget item in the 2017 Iran defense budget. And then the final reason, Melissa, is that's a part of the world where perceptions matter, and they matter a lot. And what the perception is that Iran forced the United States into a humiliating position, took American hostages, got a big ransom for them, and in fact, Iran even did a documentary about it. So for all of those 3 reasons, this was a very big mistake, and we will be paying the consequences for it for a long time to come, as more hostages are taken.
And beyond that, of course, that's not what the administration says. They say they have a dialogue with Iran, that all of this is evidence that our relationship with them is getting better. We're returning money that was theirs anyway. Right. You know, that things are getting better with this nation. That's not true.
Why did they take 3 more hostages if things are getting better? Why have they used that money for their defense budget, which is going to go out and be used against America's and Americans' allies? You know, it just doesn't wash me. Why on earth would we give money to a country that's then going to turn around and use that money to kill us?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
A blurry red line 5 years ago today, KT. I mean, it's amazing. President Obama and Hillary Clinton vowed to remove Syrian President Bashar al-Assad from power. Listen.
This morning, President Obama called on Assad to step aside and announced the strongest set of sanctions to date targeting the Syrian government. These sanctions include the energy sector to increase pressure on the regime. The transition to democracy in Syria has begun, and it's time for Assad to get out of the way.
Democracy. A demand, so that demand that we heard, totally ineffective. President Assad, obviously in power. Democracy. I mean, we're looking at the video of the bloodshed that's going on, that poor child that we see in the video. I mean, it's just, KT, what do you make of all this? You
know, that little boy is 5 years old. And when Secretary Clinton and President Obama were saying, Assad, you've got to go, thinking that somehow if they said it, it would magically happen. That little boy was, you know, he's been alive as long as that promise has been out there, and look what's happened. It's only gotten worse, and it will only get worse. And again, perceptions in that part of the world matter. When the President of the United States makes a threat, he's got to go. Assad's got to go. This is time for him to step down. And at the same time, the President of Russia is saying, no, Assad is going to stay. Look who's still in power. Look who looks like the strong horse in the Middle East. Who looks like the weak horse.
And Russia plays a very long game. And they have certainly stepped up in power and influence around the world during President Obama's regime. KT, thank you.